Welcome to the Predictive Playbook. That was an interesting countdown, the 30 seconds there with technology the way it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is, but I hope you enjoyed that. But welcome to the lunchtime edition of the Predictive. And I'm here with GDog of G. Have him on here. Yeah, the weekend is here. Friday's always an exciting afternoon. A lot to look forward to. We have the RBC and the PGA taking place right now. And Cam Smith shot a 9 under yesterday. I just wish he would have done that.
Right. I saw he was up.
Would have made the draft, but I shouldn't beg too much.
I saw he was up there fishing.
But how is everything going, G-Dog?
It's going good. Going good. Been a little up and down week so far. Crazy NBA. Couple of things. Baseball's been good. Had the Dodgers last night at -1.5, which is a risk, but I'm a huge Dodger fan on top of it. But they managed to pull that one out late. I thought they were done for sure, but the A's was good. I saw that you're on the A's as well. That was like kind of the play of the day, I guess.
Yeah, that was a no sweater.
Yeah. It's nice when that happened.
It sure is. And while we're on the topic of the Dodgers, the whole world is betting the Dodgers. And one of the teams I think that actually matches up pretty well against them, and I'm not suggesting that the Dodgers will not win the NL West or the pennant at this point in time, but they are traveling to San Diego tonight. And San Diego, I think, is one of the teams, and maybe one of the only teams, that has a chance to give them some problems. But with the world, all over the Dodgers, if I bet the Padres, I'm either going to break even or I actually might come out a little bit ahead, especially if they win 2 of the games. Because they're going to be an underdog probably for the entire season. The Padres are when they play the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And taking that value, I'm thinking that that's probably the way to go, even though I, too, like the Dodgers quite a bit. I have liked the Dodgers for a long time. Sometimes I wish I had lived in Southern California. But, do you see any holes in that theory that you could, steer me, out of this potential trap?
Well, they do match up really well. They got the Dodgers set their rotation to match up with the best of the Padres rotation, but Snell the other night wasn't looking like an ace that he is. And then Musgrove also got beat again. So it's kind of, I think if you ran a progression from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like an ABC progression, perhaps you might, end up being all right. I think maybe the Padres might snag one, especially being at home. Those are always kind of, those divisional games are a little bit more of a wild card, if you will, because they end up being, and especially this year, they got themselves, they got Machado, and Tatis is supposed to be back tonight. I did hear, I'm very happy to see him back. Hopefully, he doesn't have any issues. So, but they're talking about maybe a torn labrum or something, and you don't want to put that guy out there that you just signed a 14-year contract or whatever. You don't want to put him at risk, so he's damaged goods, anytime. So, it's not worth it. But Padres look really good too so far. It's just it's going to be interesting how that comes down. But the Dodgers are the defending champs. So, but if there's any given, Kershaw will give up a couple dingers or whatever. They have the lineup to be able to knock him around. So it's a possibility. I definitely think a progression with the plus odds would be a decent.
Yeah, the matchups. Bueller's going tonight against Weathers. Weathers is a lefty. Then Kershaw tomorrow against Darvish, and that actually we'll have to see later today. That actually might. I wouldn't be surprised if San Diego was slightly favored.
Yeah.
That's a game where I think San Diego could actually be -125. You'll have to see. And then, as you mentioned, Snell coming off the unlike ace performance. Shocking. But aces have a tendency to bounce back.
Yeah.
in a big way. And again, another lefty. So the Dodgers, three lefty starters. And I'm not sure it really matters, but against the Dodgers lineup, that's probably them throwing four righties against them. But
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer is the guy that's going in the finale. So,
Yeah.
whether it's Darvish Snell against Bueller, Kershaw. Now I see that, and I'm thinking I could get 2-3 on San Diego here. Because that's what you would have to do, because if Darvish is favored, that kind of puts a dent in my theory, I think, right? Because they would have to win that game.
Yeah. But, it's tough.
And then I'd have to split either the game tonight, or the one on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, it's a tough thing because of the just the way that baseball is. It's unpredictable in a lot of cases, even though it should be predictable. I mean, the Rockies suck. I mean, it's like the Dodgers too. Like, I know over the last couple of years they've dominated the Rockies in their home park. So, at Dodger Stadium, it's pretty much a lock. It's like it's been like that for a while. But the other teams, I mean, the Dodgers is susceptible. I mean, obviously they got beat when they went to Colorado that first game. So I mean, it's it's tough sometimes. But I mean, you got Turner's already got 4 home runs. He had 4 all last season in the 42 game season or whatever.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to hear of odds.
So they have the offense. It's just, especially, I mean, man, they have guys that they just bring up from the farm and they just plug them in and they're good. McKintrey or what, that guy just filling in. Gavin Lux obviously is coming on this year. He's playing last year too, but I mean, it's just like they have a lot of plug and play players. You just don't know. I think they're a lot deeper than the Padres are. Might be a good series to stay away from. I don't know. Get a feel for it. The first series of the year against the division rivals. So. But I mean, I do think
I think you're right.
Progression may be the only way to go. But I mean, I know guys that do progression systems on series, and they do very well. I'm not a progression better. I don't like, if you get to those C bets, it's kind of scary. So.
That's a very good point.
Did you play any golf today? Any matchups?
I actually didn't today. Usually the tournament after a major.
Yeah. It's kind of
very light for reasons, I think. It's, I have ESPN's David Berman on the Tuesday at 1:00 show. Mm-hmm. And now he has 8 consecutive shows where he's been profitable, and he was in the Masters. I honest to God, I've never seen anything remotely close to what he's achieved in the 8 weeks. So he had the usual names this week with the RBC. It's what's interesting on the whole thing is that you have the Players Championship there at Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, at Sawgrass, which is where as you know, I was actually visiting family there over the past weekend. And Di did the course at Hilton Head, where the RBC is being played, and they're completely different. Yeah. And it just shows kind of how the architecture evolved throughout his career. To the point where he's known for the pot bunker, and for me, it almost sounds a lot psychologically not right, but when I'm mentally exhausted after playing one of his courses, I actually like it. Yeah. Because I know that I've just played a test of golf, and even more so that that the pros play it, and they actually play it. And firsthand, to play that course 4 days in a row is a monster achievement. Yeah. There's not too many guys that are amateurs that would be able to play that course consistently for 4 days in a row. But like I said, the RBC now is different. DeChambeau withdrew because of the course. I'm not putting words, but that's pretty much the reason why. He could have played that course with the exception of 2 holes of par 5s where he could have simply just hit 4 irons off the tee and then wedges.
Yeah.
But his accuracy was really bad over the weekend. He shot 67 on Friday, and you thought, oh, wow, here he comes.
Yeah.
And then, 75 was, it was like, what was that?
Yeah, that course can be tough for sure.
So, it's a tree-lined, more traditional, like northeast type of course that just happens to be in South Carolina.
Yeah.
But anyway, golf is golf, but we have the U.S. Open coming up. We have the PGA. We have a ton in golf coming up, so there's plenty of time to get the wallet out and make some good bets.
Yeah.
But tailing David Berman, I mean, that's I never thought I would say it's a no-brainer to tail somebody.
Well, there's not a lot of guys that do golf.
Wasn't real good advice for.
Yeah. Not a lot of guys that do golf, and if they do it well, then obviously, I mean, I'll tail guys that I know are good, but I don't handicap golf myself. I just never, certain things I haven't developed formulas for everything. I mean, there's so many different sports. I mean, I know there's guys that are great at tennis, and there's guys that are good at golf, and guys that are good at esports, like we were talking about before. I mean, not my cup of tea, but, not really my cup of tea. There's MLS soccer I know starts tonight. That's like
I've done some interesting studies actually with the DraftKings.
Okay.
And I apologize if I'm talking my headphones. It's not picking you up all the time, and we'll get that fixed for the next one.
Yeah. No problem.
But it definitely has to be on my end. So I apologize if I'm cutting in on you. But in the DraftKings, I've actually done some lineups where you go to put players in, and there's a profile picture of them.
Yeah.
Well, some of those players don't have a picture of themselves. It's blank. And I thought, I wonder how a team of 6 golfers with no picture do. So, I mean, it's pizza money, right? So you're going to do 5 lineups anyway, or at least 3. And believe it or not, the 2 times that I've done it this year in 2021, they've cashed.
Wow.
Now, there's no machine learning. There's no database. There's no nothing.
Yeah.
But at one point, Victor Hovland was a no-facer. But isn't that interesting that I just kind of thought of something really completely off the wall that has absolutely no logic other than if the picture of his face is not there, you add him to your team.
Yeah.
So that's a new DraftKings theory. Now, maybe I should get it patented before somebody else thinks of it.
The no-face lineup.
The no-face lineup. Yeah, it's like.
I mean, if you put logic behind it a little bit, I mean, all the big-name players are the ones that are always the most popular, and the ones that always end up, in everybody's thoughts. But then you get those guys that are off the radar, so to speak. And
for sure.
You don't know. Get them at a good price too, I'm sure.
Yep. Oh yeah, Matsuyama was really flying under the radar this week or last week, and I thought it was just a great win. It's great for Japan. It's great for golf. It's just a great win. Period. But what are some of the games that you're seeing on the card now for Friday? We went over the Dodgers and the Padres, and I will admit, for anybody who's listening to the show, I'm going to rethink that theory, at least for this 3-game set with the Dodgers. If it was 4-game set, I think I might be tempted to take the Padres 4 straight times and see how it works out. But, with that said, there's nothing wrong with paper trading either, and that's where you say, okay, I'm going to test this theory and let's see how it goes. So maybe that's what I'll end up doing, but. Is there anything on the Major League Baseball card that you got your eye pointing to that looks kind of tasty?
I don't know. There's a lot, but I haven't really done a deep dive yet. I would say the one that stands out to me so far is the Marlins tonight.
Yep.
And then, let me see what else.
Is it more that you like?
What's that?
Is it more you like Castano, the lefty pitching for the Marlins, or that you don't like these? I can't even pronounce it.
The Braves have been very, or not the Braves, sorry. The Giants have been doing all right, obviously, but I mean, I do like the lefty tonight at home. You know, I don't know what the Giants' record is yet, away games, but the Marlins were one of those teams last year, kind of snuck up on everybody, you know, and it was like they had a really good season, but this year they still haven't seemed to get it together yet, so not sure. But I like them tonight in that spot.
Yeah, I actually do too. 71% of the money is on the Marlins, and you're getting them at plus 120 at William Hill, plus 119 Circa, plus 118 at Westgate here. And these are live lines here that we're using at WagerTalk.com/odds, and it's a good page to go to because it gives you the Vegas pulse, which you really can't find too many other places. You can get all the offshores and DraftKings and FanDuel, but this is the only one that I'm aware of. And I would have never known it had it not been my connection with Wager Talk and Sports Memo. So it's a pretty good one. It's a very good one. One game that has been talked about, and you're I guess the third or fourth show today, and it seems to be targeted by someone on each show, is the Atlanta Braves traveling to Chicago, and that game starting at 2:20 Eastern Standard Time this afternoon. We have Wright for Atlanta going against Davies for Chicago, both righties. We have a little bit of a crossover with the money. The targeting seemed to be on the Braves, but now I'm watching this money kind of cross over. You got 51% of the tickets on the Braves. You got 58% on the Cubs. Granted, not a big move, right? I mean, it's not like you would see 48% of the tickets and 70% of the money, but it is a crossover nevertheless. And they opened it with the Braves at minus 120, and because of that crossover in the last hour here, this has happened. The Cubs now are the favorite, albeit small, but they are the favorite across the board. Minus 108 at Westgate, 108 at Circa. Do you have any feeling on this game at all?
I do. I don't know, the wind's blowing in, but I also see that Davies, his last outing got shelled, and he's got a 11.05 ERA. But you got the Kyle Wright's making his first start, and both the bullpens are pretty good. But I think I heard one of you guys on the earlier show was talking about the Cubs being inconsistent. They're basically Braves lost 4 in a row, won the last game, beat Miami, but they've been pretty inconsistent too.
And then the Braves are 4-6 on the season, as you know, 1-9 on the run line.
Yeah.
7-3 to the over, and that 1-9. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
If I just took that as an independent parameter, the P value or the JR value that I'm supposed to now call it, is terrible. It's if anything 1-9. If this would get to 1-11 on the run line, that then would be supportive for the Braves on the run line.
Yeah.
But based on the value of of that trend, it still could go against the Braves a little bit more. So, it's at a point now where, earlier today on those shows, Ira Silver was the one that was mentioning the Braves, and I suspect that if he was here with us now, he probably would be leaning a little bit less on the Braves. And I'm not trying to put words in his mouth or change the bet, but it is noteworthy that this betting flow has gone in this direction.
Yeah, I do see the line reversal on the Cubs. For sure.
Yep. And then there's another one that is significant, and that's in the 7:05 game, 9:05, 9:06 rotation numbers. The St. Louis Cardinals come to Philadelphia to take on Zach Eflin. St. Louis counters with Martinez. Here you have 55% of the tickets on the Cardinals, 71% on the Phillies is the money. And this line opened at minus 125, plus 105 in favor of the Phillies. It's now up to minus 140, minus 148 at DraftKings. And this feels like a pretty good steam move taking place right before our very eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think the Phillies are the bet here, or is it worth? Because it's probably going to go up to 150 before I would expect any buyback. But any thoughts on chasing the line with the trend that's in place?
I have mixed signals on that. I have some big money on the other side on St. Louis, but then you also have the line reversal on the Phillies, so it's probably a stay away for myself. I like to have my indicators line up. I have a couple different sources that I go to that I look at, and I like to have them match if possible.
Yeah, and there's a lot of sources out there. That's a good point about the using the money flows and not just one site for it. So
get some offshore money flow, and then you get obviously all the lines that you got from Vegas.
Yeah,
there's some interesting boxing going on this weekend. You have Jake Paul boxing again.
Well, let's go ahead.
That? So you're going to be watching that one?
Enlighten me with this.
Ben Askren is a UFC guy. He's 19-2 over his last, at the UFC. He's under contract currently, but he had a hip replacement surgery about 8 months ago, and he's 36 years old, and he hasn't boxed before. And then you got Jake Paul, which is the celebrity, I guess, so to speak, his podcast. He thinks he's all that, but he knocked out Nate Robinson, the old basketball player, but he was old. Knocked him out pretty good. So I don't know what Jake Paul's technique is, so to speak, but it should be entertaining nonetheless. But I think it's his first real competition, so to speak, that you have a legitimate UFC fighter. What do you got for NBA tonight?
NBA, we had the Clippers coming into Philly. I'm going to switch the odds board here quick. And I like Philly. And I guess this is maybe 26 years of experience speaking, but I got, I would say, I don't like ever saying I had a bad beat. It's either a win or a loss. But, when you're up 22 with 8 minutes to go and then you don't cover, a lot of beginning bettors would get really angry at the Sixers and say, I'm never betting them again. Those guys stink, what they did to me. And one of the key, put that in the rearview mirror, no matter what, day to day, and you also don't chase a team that you just won the last 2 times with, just because they won the last 2 times.
Yeah.
But the Sixers here, I think, are in a really good spot again, and they're, the market's essentially not getting the respect that I and my machine say they should get.
Right.
Up to the 8-minute mark, the machine learning on the last game against the Nets was spot on. I couldn't have been happier. And as we know, as quickly as I was happier than a lark, he morphed into the fire hydrant. And that's the nature of the beast. There's not
Yeah.
one person in the world that's not going to have a bad beat. But I'm telling you, and you'll agree, that it averages out over the course of a season. You're going to have games that you shouldn't have won. Like the Flyers last night, for example. I had them. It was my premium pick. And somehow overcoming a 1-0 lead. At that point, Berg scored. I thought, well, this is not going according to plan because I thought it was going to have to be high scoring. But then, they went in a shootout. So,
Yeah.
Sometimes you just never know. But that's an example.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So in this game with Philly tonight, I think that's the right play. It is going to be a premium release for my clients. So you're getting a free one right here, right now. And it opened at 2, now it's 3. Does it go to 3.5? I don't know, but I think I'd rather get on board now than wait. Any thoughts here?
I like Philly. I like them. I'm not a huge Clippers fan. I just they're not consistent. They've been a little more consistent this season, but last year was terrible. Everybody had them in the Lakers, but the Clippers obviously couldn't perform. And then this season, same thing. I don't see them as a championship caliber team. I just don't. There's too many letdowns throughout the course of the year. I think Philly, being at home, it's a good spot. They match up well, and I think it's their chance to show. It's not the game on ESPN tonight too, probably. Yeah,
I believe it is. I don't know that for a fact, but I believe it is.
Yeah, I think I saw the advertisement for it.
Yep.
Then I don't know. Indiana's kind of one of those games as well that I like. Trailblazers though tonight. Line went from a pick 'em open up to now it's 2.5 Trailblazers.
Yeah.
Playing against San Antonio. San Antonio's not really that consistent either. They're up and down all over the place. But I like Portland to cover tonight. I would say the Heat and the Trailblazers are my two plays probably. Miami against Minnesota. Minnesota's just, I don't know if they're mailing it in for the rest of the year, but they seem like it.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, there's a fine line at the pro level between excellence and mediocrity or worse. And when you're not going anywhere, you're still trying to play your best. You're a professional. You've played hard to this level. But even if you're just a tenth of a second off, it's the difference between elite and not so elite.
Yeah. I think Miami's got something to prove. Obviously, Jimmy Butler loves to shine in those spots, and they're at full strength, I think, tonight. Pretty sure. Just double check what I'm at.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it. Yep. And probably the prop bets. I haven't taken a look at those yet, but we have from Wager Talk Ski Profit, who I always say if he was any more chill, he would fall asleep. But just a great guy, and it is he'll be on the 4:30 show, which we're making like the end of the day at the pub. You stop by, say hello, give out some information, recap the shows you were on, and it's just a complete summation of the day and the news and sports and the free picks again. And people like free picks, and that's how this works. That's what makes it good. But at the same time, we all learn so much from others that we surround ourselves with. So that's good too.
Yeah, doing this for 26 years. You yourself,
Miami and Port gonna jot down because I don't want to forget it. And you like the Sixers along with me.
Yep.
and then one of us will retweet this show with the picks. Either you or I could. If you want to do it, I'll give it over to you. We just put just so everybody can see it, and then if you direct message me, and I did this on the tweet for this show, that if you retweet it and then direct message me that you retweeted it, you'll get tonight and Saturday for free, and that means you get the premium test drive of my service. So hopefully that's not too much to ask there to do a retweet and stuff. But if you want to tag along,
Sure.
we can include you as well. So send a DM to both of us, and we'll give out our premium picks for the next 2 days, and you get to see firsthand the research behind this madness, and hopefully some winning picks. It's hard to do that on a 2-day basis, so you don't want to evaluate anybody on just 2 days. I've been doing it 26 years, so I'd rather have you look at that than anything else.
Could be your 2 bad days this week.
Yep.
It's the course of the season. Long-term mentality.
I guess we'll sign off here, GDog. But you can have the floor here. You can tell people how to find you. Any specials you're running. Whatever you want. The floor is yours.
You can just find me on Twitter at GDog Sports. I have different types of specials all the time. Just depends on what I feel like that day, I guess. I don't have anything off the top of my head, though, unfortunately, right now.
Okay.
I need to work on that.
Well, here's something that we can all focus on. What time are we drinking a can of beer and playing piano? Well, you probably on the show yesterday. Ski had a background in his house there, and it has a baby grand Yamaha piano.
Oh, okay.
And I've actually played piano since I was 6.
Oh, really? Wow.
So
Good stuff.
one of these shows, I would be in the background playing a little jazz music, and Ski would have a can of beer in his hand, and that's what we're trying to do, is to create that kind of atmosphere on a Friday afternoon. And the pandemic has really given me to do it, because normally we would meet our buddy at a Friday and get the plans for the weekend down. What time's the tea time? Who you bet? Are you taking the Sixers tonight? That kind of dialogue. So that's what we're trying to recreate, and people are going to stop by for 5 minutes and say hi. My best bet is this, and they're going to move on. So it's going to evolve, and eventually, all the guests that I interview during the week will have an opportunity to pop by, say hello. They can even have a can of beer or a bottle of beer in their hand, or the beverage of their choice.
Nice.
And then, that will leave and come on. So that's what we're trying to create. So I appreciate Max on record here saying that, what time. So the time is it'll probably be 4:45. We're shooting for 4:30, but more than likely it'll be 4:45. I guess lastly, at Wager Talk is hysteria, but it also provides really good insight into the NBA. I give them one of my betting systems, the NBA angle of the day, and that too has become humorous because the host is a great host, and he pretends these systems, like what in the world is he talking about? And it's not hard to understand. He's just playing around, and it's great. And then he, on Thursdays with Tony Finn and Rob Vino, who are my 2 partners at the 4:30 show every day, those think that they don't, particularly care. And then yesterday's typing, and you can hear the clicking on the show, right? And then Joe just stops the show and starts yelling at him, just like a 5th grade, like you're in 5th grade, and threatening to throw him in the corner for 30 minutes or something. So, guys, you definitely go check it. It comes at 3 o'clock every day at Wager Talk. So that's another good one.
Sounds
But
good.
anyway, GDog, it's great having you on, and then we're gonna have you on, as often as possible. It looks like we'll probably have you set for a daily slot.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
So have a great weekend. So we always sign, even if I have another host fill in for me, they have to do this, and it goes like this: for GDog, myself, and the Predictive Playbook, may all the wins be yours.
All right.